Today we bring you the movie, D-War. Hope you all like it. Every modern people believes that the time of dragons has passed. But what they don't know is that it's just the beginning. Because every 500 years a young girl will be chosen to possess the Dragon Ball in her body that has the power to turn a serpent into a dragon. Now that it's a new round of 500 years, who will be the girl with the Dragon Ball? Not long ago, archaeologists discovered a strange stone in the suburbs. The horrible thing is that scientists found that it is actually not a stone, but a scale of some creature. But what kind of creature has such large scales? Soon after, Ethan sees this report from the news, and he feels a sudden thrill of foreboding. This reminds him of a story that the Master Jack once told him when he was a child. Once upon a time, there lived many serpents in heaven. They had a common name called Emogi. Every 500 years, one of them has a chance to become the celestial dragon, but only if it can find the girl with the Dragon Ball. These girls live only 20 years, because on their 20th birthday, they must sacrifice the Dragon Ball in their bodies to Emogi. In this way, Emogi will become a dragon to protect the world. But 500 years ago, an evil serpent, Baraki, suddenly appeared. Its followers designed to possess the Dragon Ball and rule the world, but this heaven could not allow. So it hid away the Dragon Ball on Earth, and sent down the best warrior Haram, and his master Bachun to protect the Dragon Ball. In this way, the Dragon Ball came to a girl named Naren. In order to protect the Dragon Ball, Bachun raised Naren, and Haram became Naren's close bodyguard. Being together every day, Haram and Naren fell in love. However, the good times didn't last long, because the Dragon Ball in Naren's body was discovered by Baraki. In order to get it, Baraki sent an entire army of dinosaurs to attack the whole village. The village suffered from the war, and numerous people living there died. In order to prevent Baraki from getting the Dragon Ball, Haram and Naren both jumped off the cliff and died in the sea. Now Ethan and Jack are Haram and Bachun from 500 years ago, and it is their second chance to protect the Dragon Ball. Because Baraki has missed an opportunity to become the dragon, it will definitely come back for it. So for Ethan, the most important thing right now is to find a girl named Sarah. At the same time, in the zoo late at night, a security guard is awakened by the cry of an elephant. He thinks the elephant might be hungry, so he impatiently goes out to check with a flashlight. But he is completely shocked by what he sees before him. A giant serpent abruptly throws a 5-ton elephant in front of him. Fortunately, the security guard is flexible, so he escapes from being killed by it. Unsurprisingly, this serpent is Baraki. The security guard goes to the police station and tells them what happened, but they don't believe that a creature like that could exist in the world. On the other side, Ethan's friend Bruce is helping him search for the girl named Sarah in the whole city. But unfortunately, there are more than 10,000 people named Sarah in the city. Trying to find the Sarah Ethan is looking for is tantamount to looking for a needle in a haystack. Fortunately, his master once said that the girl who is reincarnated with the Dragon Ball has a tattoo of dragon on her shoulder. Just then Ethan's colleague tells him that he has just met a girl named Sarah, who has knocked over 3 football players on her own. By intuition, Ethan believes that this Sarah might be the one he is looking for. At the same time, Baraki comes to near Sarah's house. Ethan's intuition is right. This Sarah is the one he is looking for. But Sarah has already been admitted to the hospital because of her dragon tattoo. She always has nightmares, and she can't sleep all night because of the pain caused by her dragon tattoo. Now Sarah's best friend is packing clothes for her at her apartment and preparing to visit her in the hospital the next day. After hearing the noise outside the door, she goes out to check. But unexpectedly, Baraki bites her with its huge mouth and kills her. Probably it smelled Sarah's scent on her and mistook her for Sarah. Early the next morning, Ethan rushes to the scene immediately after receiving the news. He learns that Sarah is in the hospital from her neighbor's mouth. Following this clue, Ethan finally finds Sarah. But meanwhile, Baraki has come to the hospital by tracking the scent of Sarah. At this time, people in the hospital are unaware of this, while Baraki is hovering outside of the hospital and secretly observing. After observing for a while, Baraki rushes in directly. When people in the hospital see Baraki, they are scared and run away hurriedly. In a short time, The whole hospital is destroyed by Baraki. And Baraki finally finds Sarah and pursues her. Ethan takes Sarah to the parking lot, where Bruce has been waiting to pick them up. Because the narrow space in the parking lot limits Baraki's speed and Bruce is a good driver, they escape from there successfully. After having gone through life and death, Ethan and Sarah start to have feelings for each other. But Ethan also begins to worry that he is doomed to be unable to stay together forever with Sarah, who carries the Dragon Ball in the body. Meanwhile, in the face of Baraki, the Ministry of National Defense holds an emergency meeting. According to their investigation, they find that Baraki is a prehistoric creature and has been looking for Sarah. In order to avoid more deaths, they have to find Sarah as soon as possible. On the other hand, in order to help Sarah figure out the whole thing, Ethan finds a professor friend who successfully awakens Sarah's memory of her past life with instruments. But just within this short time, Baraki comes here by tracking Sarah's scent. Ethan immediately holds Sarah's hand and run away. They come to a restaurant and meet Bruce there. Bruce has prepared a helicopter for them, which may help them escape from Banaki's hunting temporarily. But this is not a long-term solution after all, because Sarah has the Dragon Ball in her body. As long as she is alive, Baraki will always find her. And in the face of the powerful Baraki, they have no power to fight against it. When Ethan goes to the bathroom, Jack suddenly appears. He tells Ethan that the best way is to take Sarah to the Grand Cave and sacrifice her to Imogi, which is also their mission as guardians of the Dragon Ball. But just like Haram, Ethan doesn't want to watch his beloved die of sacrifice. But at this point, Baraki finds them again. It comes to the outside of a restaurant, the surrounding buildings of which has been destroyed by it one by one. Here, it smells Sarah. Baraki directly breaks the wall with its huge mouth, but Sarah isn't there, because Ethan has already taken her out of the restaurant. Seeing they are going to escape, Baraki bites a car onto the road. By gently shaking its head, Baraki throws the car out for a few hundred meters, which falls on the ground and stops Ethan's way. Banaki stares at the prey that is going to be its food, and two of them are too scared to move. Fortunately, the police shoot it in time, which attracts Baraki's attention, so Ethan and Sarah escape successfully. Missing the Dragon Ball again, Baraki is enraged. It twists its huge body and rampages through the city at an extremely fast speed. Everywhere it goes is destroyed, and all the buildings are instantly reduced to ruins. On the other side, Ethan and Sarah come to the top of a building where stands a helicopter that had been arranged for them. They think they are going to escape from the hunt, but they aren't. Baraki circles the building and bites the helicopter just 3 meters off the ground. The pilot strives to get rid of it, but he can't. Seeing this, Ethan has to jump off the helicopter with Sarah. The next second, the helicopter is thrown to the ground and explodes instantly. By now, Ethan and Sarah has no way out, and the serpent opens its huge mouth to them. At this critical moment, several fighter planes fly up and fire at the serpent at close range. Baraki tries to fight back, but the pilots fire missiles on it directly. Under this fierce offensive, Banaki is defeated and falls heavily to the ground. They think Baraki will retreat under this situation, but the terrible thing has just begun. With Baraki screaming at the sky, countless pterosaurs fly towards them from the distance. The dinosaur army that swept the whole village 500 years ago reappears. Seeing that the situation is out of control, the government has to dispatch a large number of troops. What they didn't expect, however, is that these pterosaurs can spit out fireballs. Those beasts are also equipped with powerful missiles on their backs. In the face of such powerful ancient creatures, even hard tanks cannot stop them, and all tanks are blown into pieces. In a short time, the whole city is completely destroyed. Meanwhile, Ethan and Sarah are found by the FBI. They are taken to a temporarily safe place, but a guy from the FBI, Frank, decides to kill Sarah. Because FBI has a department that studies supernatural phenomena, they already know everything about the Dragon Ball. Frank believes that all this can only be solved if Sarah dies. Even if Baraki does not die, it will be 500 years later when it comes back again. The most important thing he needs to do at this moment is to ensure the safety of their city. Then, Frank takes out his gun and prepares to kill Sarah. Just at this critical moment, Frank's colleague shoots and kills him, because he knows that only Sarah can completely end all this, so she cannot die. In this way, Ethan and Sarah drive away to the remote countryside. Sarah is unhappy all the way until Ethan asks her and he realizes that it is Sarah's 20th birthday. Just as they finish speaking, Baraki and his army catch up with them. The car rolls over when it is hit by a fireball, causing Ethan and Sarah both pass out. When they wake up again, they find that they have been caught into Baraki's lair. Sarah is tied to the altar. Bunaki opens its huge mouth and is ready to eat Sarah at any time. Just then, the pendant on Ethan's chest suddenly flushes red light and bursts into a huge energy. Then, a white light comes from the sky and goes straight into Ethan's chest. An amazing force burst out instantly, and thousands of dinosaur armies are reduced to ashes within a second. Baraki is also stunned by this powerful force. However, after a while, Baraki is awake. When it regains consciousness, it opens its mouth towards Sarah. Just then, a white serpent suddenly appears in the sky and saves Sarah in time. It is the good Emogi who represents justice. Emogi grabs Baraki and throws it away directly. Baraki is completely furious. It bites Emogi's neck and smashes it to the ground. When the priest climbs a foot, the devil climbs 10. Looking at Emogi, who is seriously injured, Sarah decides to face her fate directly. She stands in front of Baraki and takes out the Dragon Ball in her body. Just as Baraki is about to swallow the Dragon Ball, Sarah suddenly waves her hand and sends the Dragon Ball into Emogi's mouth. With the Dragon Ball leaving from her body, Sarah immediately loses her life. Watching the Dragon Ball flying away, Baraki immediately rushes to Emogi to take it back. However, what it has to face at this time is not the weak white serpent, but a dragon with 4 claws, long tentacles and magnificent momentum. With a long scream, Emogi launches a fierce attack on Baraki. At this time, Baraki is no match for Emogi at all. It is slapped over by its palm and thrown out dozens of meters away. Emogi flies to the top of the building, and then with a roar, Bunaki seizes the opportunity and bites it tightly. The angry Emogi throws Baraki to the ground. Then, it spits out a fireball from its mouth and hits Baraki's body directly. After a cry, Bunaki is gradually burned into ashes. This long war finally subsides, and Sarah sacrifices her life for giving the Dragon Ball. At the end of the movie, Sarah turns into a blue light and flies into the sky with Emogi. For the next 500 years, she will guard her beloved land together with Emogi. Ethan will stay on Earth until he is reincarnated again and finds the next Dragon Ball girl. Okay, that's all for today's movie. If you enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.